6 months had passed since Phil's death, but his memory was still a heavy presence in my life. I visited his grave often, and today, I was there with Bart, one of Phil's old friends. Despite the time that had gone by, my heart was still overwhelmed by the emptiness left behind by Phil's passing. His shadow seemed permanently etched into my mind, and I found it impossible to forget the moments we spent together. The laughter, the places we visited, the meals we shared. Every small thing seemed to bring his memory rushing back. Phil wouldn't want me to be stuck like this, I knew that, but knowing something and moving on are two very different things. On the way home from the cemetery, Bart handed me a slightly bulging envelope. "This is from Phil," he said quietly. "He wanted me to give this to you." Suspicious and unsure, I took the envelope and opened it at home. Inside was a USB drive and some photographs. A letter from Phil. My hands trembled as I inserted the USB into my computer. Curiosity mixed with dread. What could Phil have left behind for me? The contents were shocking. There were letters, several of them, detailing a troubling secret about my mother-in-law. Apparently, she had been conspiring with local gangsters to help her new cafe succeed. Phil had found out, and it had tormented him. He couldn't speak up, but he also couldn't stand by and do nothing. The burden of knowing what she had done became too much for him to bear, and he'd eventually taken his own life. My heart broke reading his words. The betrayal, the helplessness, it was all there in his writing. Phil was asking me to take revenge on his mother in his place. "My name is Betty White. I'm 35 years old, and I work for a small regional company. My life was simple and calm before Phil's death, but now everything felt different. My mother-in-law, who had always seemed like a gentle, supportive woman, was the reason Phil had suffered so deeply. The idea of revenge seemed almost unreal, but I could hear Phil's voice in my mind, and I knew I had to do something. For him. I decided to confront her. I began visiting her cafe more often, hoping to understand what had happened, to hear the truth from her own lips. Every time I saw her smile and talk kindly to her customers, it made me feel sick. How could she pretend everything was normal after all that had happened? One day, I overheard her speaking in a low, hushed tone to someone on the phone. "Yes, the new store is becoming a problem," she said. "Handle it like the others. I'll pay whatever it takes." Hearing those words made my stomach turn. There it was. The proof that she was still working with the gangsters, that she hadn't changed at all. She was willing to ruin others, just to keep her cafe afloat. I knew I couldn't wait any longer. The next time I visited her, I made sure to record our conversation. I asked her directly about her connections to the gangsters, and at first she denied everything. But as I pushed harder, I could see her starting to crack. "Why do you care so much?" she snapped, her face twisted in anger. "They were trying to destroy my business. I did what I had to do. Phil never understood that." Hearing her say his name like that with such disdain made my blood boil. "Phil died because of you," I said, my voice trembling. "He couldn't live with what you were doing. He tried to stop you and you pushed him away. He's gone because of you." My mother-in-law's face went pale, and for a moment I saw something that looked like fear. But it was gone in an instant, replaced by cold, calculated anger. "You think you can judge me?" she hissed. "You have no idea what it's like to fight for survival. Phil was weak and you are too." I had heard enough. I turned around and left, my heart pounding in my chest. I knew what I had to do. I went straight to the police, handed them the USB, the photographs, and the recording I'd made. I told them everything. A week later, they arrested her. I watched from a distance as they led her away in handcuffs. She looked small, defeated, but there was no pity in my heart for her. She had made her choices, and now she would face the consequences. As she was driven away, I felt a strange sense of peace wash over me. "Phil, we did it. I hope you're at peace now." 2 years have passed since that day. I've moved to a new place, far away from the memories of Phil's mother and her cafe. I still think about Phil every day, and I hope he's watching over me, proud of what I've done. Life isn't easy, but I'm trying to move forward, step by step, just as Phil would have wanted me to. Every now and then, I think back to those days, to the cafe, to the confrontation, and to the fear that consumed me. It was not easy to face her, and it was even harder to carry out what Phil had asked of me. But I know it was the right thing to do. Phil deserved justice, and I was the only one who could make that happen. My mother-in-law had crossed too many lines, and her actions had driven Phil to his breaking point. It wasn't just about the cafe. It was about Phil's life, his dreams, and the way she had manipulated and destroyed everything he had worked for. She had taken advantage of his loyalty, his kindness, and ultimately, she had driven him to despair. I couldn't let that go unanswered. I owed it to Phil to make sure that the truth came out, that she faced the consequences of her actions. After her arrest, there was an investigation, and more details came to light. The gangsters she had been working with were involved in several other illegal activities, and my mother-in-law had been a willing participant. She had paid them to sabotage other businesses, to intimidate competitors, and to ensure that her cafe was the only one that could succeed. It was all about control, about power, and she had lost sight of everything else in her pursuit of success. I remember the day of her trial. I sat in the courtroom, listening as the evidence was presented, as witness after witness testified about what she had done. She showed no remorse, no regret. She sat there cold and unfeeling, as if none of it mattered. But it did matter. It mattered to Phil, and it mattered to me. When the verdict was read and she was found guilty, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. Justice had been served. Since then, I've tried to rebuild my life. I've tried to find a sense of normalcy, to move forward without Phil by my side. It's not easy. There are days when the grief feels overwhelming, when I miss him so much that it hurts. But I try to focus on the good memories, on the love we shared, and on the knowledge that I did what he needed me to do. I avenged him, and I made sure that the person responsible for his suffering was held accountable. I've started a new job, in a different town, where no one knows about my past. It's a fresh start, a chance to leave behind the pain and the memories that haunted me for so long. I've made some new friends, and I'm slowly learning to enjoy life again. There are moments of happiness, of laughter, and I know that Phil would want me to find joy, to live my life to the fullest. Sometimes I visit Phil's grave, and I talk to him. I tell him about my day, about the little things that make me smile, and about the progress I've made. I like to think that he can hear me, that he knows I'm doing my best to honor his memory. He was the love of my life, and even though he's gone, he'll always be a part of me. The pain of losing him will never completely fade, but I've learned to live with it, to carry it with me as a reminder of the love we shared. One day, I hope to find love again. I know that's what Phil would want for me. He wouldn't want me to be alone, to close myself off from the world. He'd want me to be happy, to find someone who loves me the way he did. I'm not ready yet, but maybe someday I will be. For now, I'm content with the life I've built, with the peace I've found, and with the knowledge that I did the right thing. Phil's mother is still in prison, serving her sentence for the crimes she committed. I don't think about her often, but when I do, it's with a sense of pity. She lost everything in her pursuit of success, her business, her freedom, her son. She made her choices, and now she has to live with the consequences. I've moved on, but I hope that someday she finds a way to understand the pain she caused, to feel the weight of her actions, and to seek forgiveness. Life is a journey, and mine has taken me down paths I never expected. I've faced loss, betrayal, and heartache, but I've also found strength, resilience, and hope. Phil's memory is a guiding light for me, a reminder of the love we shared and the promises we made to each other. I will continue to live my life in a way that honors him, to find joy in the little things, and to keep moving forward, one step at a time. Phil, wherever you are, I hope you know that I love you, that I always will. I hope you're proud of me, of what I've done, and of the person I've become. I will carry your memory with me always, and I will live my life in a way that makes you proud. This is my promise to you,